At the party, my CEO husband lost a round of truth or dare. The penalty: confessed the wildest place he'd ever done it. He cocked an eyebrow, calm as glass, and said, "Yesterday, corner office." Lila was already crimson beside him, burrowing into his chest like a guilty squirrel. The man's lips curved. "Delicious. Still can't get the taste off my tongue." His entourage barked a quick chorus of approval. "Seb, you sure you can sneak this past Aria?" Laughter rolled through the VIP lounge of New York's One Oak, thick as cigar smoke. I felt my blood turn to ice. So love does expire. That was the night I decided to leave him. Before we continue, smash subscribe and drop your city in the comments. When I arrived at the birthday bash, the party was already in full swing. Their laughter leaked through the door. I inhaled once, shoved it open, and every face swung toward me. "Sebastian, we're going home." My heart splintered, but I held his gaze. 8 years of marriage locked in that stare. He scowled, irritation crackling. "Aria, have you lost your mind?" I heard everything. It was locker room talk. "Chill." He couldn't even look at me, disgusted to have his spotlight stolen. My eyes burned. "If you walk out of here with anyone but me, our next conversation ends in court." I'd never said the D word before. Not when his mother made me eat cold leftovers or scrub the Hamptons patio with bleach. Sebastian blinked, momentarily unplugged. Lila pasted on a smile. "Your wife's upset. Seb, maybe you should go," she sing-songed. I stared. She could have been Sabrina's twin. Same heart-shaped face. Same dimples. Different heartbeat. Sebastian snapped, drove his foot into the lacquered table, and sent glassware skidding. "Fine. Sign the papers. You begged me to marry you. Remember? I pitied you. Don't strut now." The room dropped to church quiet. His friend's eyes glittered with popcorn glee. I could practically read tomorrow's viral meme: "Pampered heiress crashes frat party princess bash." Bastard. I wrenched the wedding band off and hurled it at his chest. "If you take one more step, every gate on the Vance estate in the Hamptons swings shut," he called after me, voice cold enough to frost steel. My knees froze. Tears blurred the exit sign. I used to be Hawthorne royalty, spoiled, sunlit, impossible to rattle. When Dad's lungs began to fail, he warned me, "Aria, that boy's had the world handed to him on a platinum tray. He'll crack you like a party favor." "It's gossip," I said. "He told me about Sabrina. He loved her since kindergarten. Leukemia took her. That kind of loyalty doesn't vanish." Dad tried once more. "The Vance conglomerate is bleeding cash. Sweetheart, he's circling our Manhattan fortune like a shark." "He isn't a cliche," I insisted. "He promised, no more ghosts. Only me." Then Dad was gone. Monitors flatlining on a rainy Tuesday. I signed Hawthorne's NYC real estate empire and tech holdings over to Seb the next morning and watched his boardroom rise from our ashes. I thought generosity guaranteed a fairy tale. Tonight, I learned hearts are solar flares. Stare too long and you burn straight through. I floated back to the Vance estate in the Hamptons, numb, and heard a dog shriek the instant I stepped inside. Bile surged. Bear, my old Labrador, Dad's last gift. Birthday bow still pressed in a scrapbook, held from the living room. Vance's mother stood over him, cane raised like a judge's gavel. Bear curled into a trembling comma. "Stop." I lunged and shielded him, silk blouse soaking his fearful drool. She resettled the cane. Startled, I dared an entrance. "Aria, why keep this walking vet bill in my house?" Bear's clouded eyes begged forgiveness for making noise. I hugged him harder. "Lay another hand on him and you'll limp forever." It was the first time I'd barked back. "How dare you?" she hissed. Tonight had sandblasted my patience. 8 years of etiquette classes snapped like cheap pearls. Since we're on the topic, let's itemize. Hawthorne's Manhattan penthouses, Vance stock, the Napa Valley vineyard, the Chicago condo. Add it all up. I'm filing the divorce petition and I want a ledger. Her complexion paled. "Your father's dead. His allies converted. You'll leave here with the clothes you're wearing and nothing else." Bear growled, low, protective. 90 pounds of loyalty. She speed-dialed Sebastian and embellished the scene. Seconds later his voice oozed through the speaker. "If she wants to fling herself off a ledge, quit handing her a parachute." I pressed my cheek to Bear's head. "Grief tastes metallic." I swallowed it whole. We left through the servants' gate the same night. 2 exiles with 1 duffel and 3 bags of kibble. I rented a 1-bedroom in Riverdale, Bronx, New York City's frayed edge. The view faced a pawn shop sign that buzzed all night, but the morning sun poured gold across worn floorboards. For the first time in 8 years, I opened my eyes without dread. I lay on the Salvation Army couch, paging through an old Vogue. Bear rolled his tennis ball off the balcony, then collapsed across my slippered feet. 1 woman, 1 dog, Peace distilled. Only Lila's face intruded. A ghost inside a ghost. Apparently, the competition was eternal and already buried. After a week of borrowed quiet, I tracked down Dad's longtime attorney in Midtown. I want out, I told him. Whatever muscle you can flex on their legal team, flex it. Let's split accounts, trusts, the art collection, all of it. He loosened his tie. Tiger's Den, Hawthorne. They've weaponized half the judges on the NYC docket. Try anyway. 30% contingency for you. Deal? He sighed, signed, and sped off on paper legs. Sebastian's emissary arrived at dusk. Who else but Lila? Sunset painted the Bronx alley rose gold. Her contour looked bulletproof. Aria. The boss says wrap up the tantrum and come back. Hysteria is so provincial. A cultured woman only plays with someone else's husband recreationally. Got it. Bear bared fangs the moment she stepped too close. I smiled. We're on our walk. Don't block the sidewalk. He lunged. She shrieked. Louboutin skidding across pigeon droppings. Chignon unraveling like old ribbon. Kibbles cheaper than cosmetics. Darling, no need to bite, I called, clipping the leash. She hissed, patting gravel off her knees, eyes venom bright. That night Bear scarfed his usual bowl, but minutes later white foam frothed from his muzzle. Rain hammered the windows. I didn't bother with shoes. I wrapped him in the quilt and sprinted into the storm. Needles of water stabbed my calves. NYC traffic lights smeared into blood-red halos. Halfway to the clinic my ankle twisted on a curb and I plunged knees first into a gutter. Water sluicing over my hips. Pain sparked stars in my vision, but I kept Bear clutched against my chest. I wouldn't let go. Couldn't. Abruptly, the downpour stopped. I looked up through strands of soaked hair. Someone held an umbrella over us. A clean-cut silhouette haloed by streetlight. His voice came gentle, cutting through thunder. Let me drive you the rest of the way. The rain drummed loud against the umbrella. The sharp staccato slicing the hush of night. Who? I asked feebly. I'm the owner of Sterling Animal Clinic, Chase. He gave a curt introduction, then lifted Bear from my arms. Clinic's right up the block in Upper West Side. Come with me. Half dazed, I trailed him. Helplessness and despair flooding every step. Fate, however, showed us no mercy. In the end Bear still slipped away. Chase told me he had swallowed rat poison. The news hit like a lightning bolt. I teetered on the edge of collapse. I flashed back to Lila's venomous stare, and a fierce instinct screamed, she killed Bear. Trembling, I dialed Sebastian and shrieked, if you've got the guts, poison me too. A few seconds of silence. Then his mocking drawl came through the line, but I couldn't hear a word. My world had already crumbled. Suddenly the phone was plucked from my hand. I looked up to see Chase's impassive profile as he tapped speaker and said, Sebastian, right. Bear wasn't a random pet. He was a search and rescue dog. Poisoning him carries a prison sentence in New York. I've got surveillance footage of your assistant dosing the food. If you want this buried, send her over to apologize on her knees. Dead silence answered from the other end. I sat gaping, stunned. Bear was a rescue dog. Chase had video of Lila. It felt like a dream, but Sebastian's icy voice jerked me awake. Who the hell are you? Chase snorted. Doesn't matter. You're the big shot CEO who can't control his own staff and resorts to targeting your wife's dog. Embarrassing, don't you think? Sebastian clearly had no patience left. Fury crackled through the phone. Put Aria on now. So you finally grew a spine. Huh. Sneaking around with some stray man behind my back. I ignored him. He kept roaring wild guesses. He ended with Aria. Don't you dare regret this. And slammed the call dead. Chase fixed me with black eyes. Send the clinic address to him. Bear's debt. I'll collect. Unaccustomed to strangers' help, I eyed him warily. How do you know me? No, I'm Sebastian's wife. He hesitated, then gave a faint, bitter smile. Vance is NYC headline news. Hard not to recognize the Hawthorne heiress. That rainy night, I felt no fear, only trust. Sebastian lived loud. Our wedding had blanketed every NYC social feed. I asked, you really have that video of his assistant? He paused. No, I was bluffing your ex. Thank heaven I hadn't sent the address. I stroked Bear's still form, tears slipping silently. From now on the road stretched long, and I would walk it alone. Suddenly a golden retriever burst into the treatment room, barking frantically at Bear's body. Startled, I blurted, "Coo." The dog's age and coloring were a mirror image of Bear. Chase calmed him. This is Sunny, my buddy for over 10 years. Bear, Sunny. I could hardly believe such a coincidence existed. When I left the clinic, I thanked him again. The next morning, after arranging Bear's cremation, I passed Sterling Animal Clinic on my way home and, on impulse, stepped inside. A big golden retriever hurled itself at me. A sharp call followed, Sunny. Chase strode over, pulling him off with an apologetic look. My heart lurched. I grabbed the collar at the same time, reading my mind. His tone turned serious. Aria, he's my partner, not for sale. I pleaded with my eyes. Last night had left me alone in an empty room. I'd cried until dawn thinking of Bear. Chase hugged the dog closer, and I inched forward, trapping Sunny between us while the bewildered Golden wondered how he'd become so popular. Finally, Chase sighed. I won't sell Sunny, but if you have time, take a part-time job here. He's aging. Spends his retirement at the clinic. I knew pet hospices existed, and a place this size must run one. Yet my first reaction wasn't joy, it was fear. Work. Can I even do this? 8 years as Sebastian's stay-at-home wife had severed me from the world. I'd counted on a quick divorce settlement, but Vance's legal team stalled with endless excuses. My savings were almost gone. Still, the thought of a job made me shrink. Chase's voice soothed raw nerves. Just bathe the pets, something you're already great at, right? True. Thanks to Bear I knew dogs inside out. Confidence surged. I can do full-time, I said, re-entering society. I wanted a safe harbor, something steady. Chase, the big boss, arranged my hiring with a word. Sunny and the other animals slowly stitched up the hole Bear had left. As Chase predicted, caring for pets was my gift. When I collected my first monthly bonus, he said, Aria, you adapt fast. I thought you'd burn out. Yet month 1 and you've been voted staff favorite. At that moment, I was brushing 2 cats and a dog, humming while warm silky fur slid under my hands. Piece of cake, I grinned, all 8 teeth showing. He added, animals flock to you. Even that demon cat who scratched 3 nurses is putty in your hands. His owner can't stop praising you. I preened. Well, my major was veterinary medicine at Cornell, so why didn't you practice? I froze. Back then, my father had been broad-minded. When I chose veterinary school over finance, he backed me fully. I'd sworn to heal thousands of creatures. Yet one sneer from Sebastian, veterinarians are filthy, made me ashamed. Sebastian loathed animals, especially dogs. Later Vance revealed why. Sabrina had lost a finger to a rabid dog when they were kids in upstate New York. From that moment, Sebastian's hatred was fixed. Our worst fight came after he singed Bear's haunch with a cigarette while drunk. He told me to get out with the dog, but the Hawthorne family no longer existed. There was nowhere to go, so Bear and I hid in the Hamptons estate basement and wept. Maybe that night Sebastian saw my weakness and stopped caring what he did to me. Aria, why are you crying? A man's anxious voice pulled me back. Tears were streaming down my face. At the clinic, I had cats and dogs for company. Occasionally, a boa constrictor left me petrified. Chase would pop up just then, teasing that I'd finally met my nemesis. Every month customers scored the staff. Top ratings came with a pay bump. 3 months in, I'd become Chase's headliner, with my own loyal clientele. Life was full and happy. I hadn't thought of Sebastian in ages. Until one lunch break I brought him fresh lychees from a client and heard a news blast from his phone. Vance CEO Sebastian caught sneaking into NYC's Plaza Hotel with high-end escort. I crept closer on tiptoe. On screen, Sebastian and the hostess from the VIP lounge were locked outside an elevator, kissing like the world was ending. Disgust hit, like swallowing a fly. So this is the affection a stand-in earns. Chase spotted me and killed the screen, studying my face. He said, Princess Hawthorne, surely you're not upset? I set the lychees down and rolled my eyes. Old habit. Once, that clip would have suffocated me. I'd have sobbed under blankets all night. Now, days raced by in a blur. Evenings ended with cute coworkers and dinner at Brooklyn's trendiest spots. Chase, the laid-back, funny, generous, and let's admit, gorgeous as boss, drove me to new places every weekend. In a few months, I'd seen more of upstate New York than during 8 years of marriage. These days, I don't have a single second to waste grieving over a man who isn't worth it. I offered no explanation, yet Chase kept watching me, unblinking. What? He flicked a lychee into his mouth. Sweet batch. You're working hard. How about getting back in the game with me next week? I blinked. He flicked my forehead. Knucklehead. Still want to be a veterinarian? Joy flooded my chest. Yes, it was my dream. Then start as my assistant. Chase popped another lychee. The grin he wore unfairly charming. The longer I looked, the hotter my cheeks burned. Sebastian sat in his Manhattan executive chair, an odd smile twisting his lips as he scrolled through the news. His executive assistant said, We've paid the outlets to push the clip hard. The missus will see it. Humph. Sebastian slammed the phone face down on the desk. It had been almost 6 months since Aria stormed out. He calculated, her cash must be long gone. She was only fronting for pride. Divorce. Just a stunt to make him look up from his phone. Another attention grab cooked up with that attorney. Even the man who called her apartment last month had to be an actor. He ordered legal to stall until her bank hit zero and she crawled back, apology in hand. The video of him and the bottle girl would be the final straw. Counting the days. She should crack this week. Another 2 weeks dragged by. Sebastian gripped his silent phone. Complexion stormy. The woman was pure mule. He remembered how headstrong she'd been when they first dated. He knew the trick. Trap her at home. Trash her career. No job. No confidence. No fight. Easy to control. Before the wedding he played agreeable. After, he chipped away, neg, nitpick, belittle, until every spine was plucked. He ran obedience checks, escalating until he faked drunkenness and scalded her golden retriever. When she didn't dare leave, he knew the lamb was broken. Now the lamb had stopped bleeding. He summoned his assistant. Where is Aria? I saw Sebastian again in the grooming bay. Chase and I were bathing a furious kitten. He pinned the yowling furball while I aimed the hose. Water flew everywhere, drenching us. The kitten singled out Chase, screeching, "Help, help." I doubled over laughing. A grating chuckle drowned mine out. I turned. Sebastian, suited to the nines, glared. Lila shadowing him. Long time. Aria. His gaze swept me head to toe. Life's treating you well? Filled out a little. Under the pleasant mask I tasted acid. What do you want? I shut off the hose. Still no settlement. Your legal team must be paid to nap. TCH. He smirked. Quit while you're ahead. Aria. Push further and it snaps. Snap. I'm dead serious about divorce. Only a child mistakes 6 months of silence for a joke. His smile dropped. Eyes slid to Chase, scratching the cat's chin. Who's he? Been bankrolling you? I stepped between them. You've waited for my savings to dry up. Sorry. I've got hands and a license. Old trade. New life. Zero worries. Sebastian's grin turned cruel. Honey, I know your limits. Stop the act. Come home to the Hamptons. Be Mrs. Vance. Zero chores. I sneered back. Cute. In 8 years of marriage I did every chore and babysat your psychopathic mother. That was hell. His face blackened. Final offer. Aria, come home. Dream on. I turned away. Once you've tasted daylight the dark swallows you whole. The Vance estate is a black hole. Step in and you're gone. Surprisingly, Sebastian stayed. Stalemate. Lila darted forward and dropped to her knees. Bare skin hitting tile. Aria. It was me. The dog. Everything. Sebastian knew nothing. Punish me however you want. The instant the words left her, the kitten shot free. Water mad. Claws flashing straight at the kneeling assistant. 3 red stripes bloomed across her pretty cheek. My stomach twisted. But forgiveness wasn't mine to give. I walked away. Sebastian caught my wrist. There. Anger spent. Let's go home. His touch revolted me. I yanked free. Don't touch me. Clients with pets drifted past. I needed him gone. He scowled. I crawled here. Aria, take the ladder before I kick it away. Still he thinks it's a tantrum. He never knew me at all. Disgust surged. You never got over Sabrina. You married me for money. Fine. I'll only take what's mine. Stay out of my life. He exhaled. Relieved. So it's Sabrina. Say so instead of staging a circus. Are you deaf? He stepped closer. I don't buy this divorce. Sabrina matters. But so do you. That hostess was just fun. Any man would have done the same. I shoved him hard. Snarling. He seized me and kissed me. We stumbled, drawing rubbernecking customers. I wanted the floor to swallow me. Suddenly the grip loosened. I broke free. Chase had blocked the punch Sebastian threw. His white coat fluttered as he stepped between us. Is every CEO above New York law? Forcing your ex is still assault. Sebastian barked. I know you, Sterling's youngest vet tycoon. Chase smiled. Then you know you're on my turf. I'm taking my wife. Not this time. The warning in Chase's voice could frost glass. Sebastian's fists clenched. Aria, you've got tonight. Don't come home. Never come back. Meeting Sebastian had been pure fluke. Father had already earmarked an old friend's youngest son, Chase. My girlfriends laughed. Who does arrange dates anymore? Come on, Aria. Live your own rom-com. Maybe their teasing planted the seed. I half hoped for a love I picked myself. Bear was family. Any suitor had to pass the dog test. So I took Bear to the cafe in Greenwich Village. At the crossing he spotted a food truck, slipped his leash, and bolted. A car bore down. I froze. A man dove, snatching Bear from the wheels. Sebastian, young, gorgeous, polite, perfect on paper. We talked. I decided fairy tales were real. Embarrassed, I ditched the original blind date. I never questioned it. Now it's obvious. A man who loathes dogs because of Sabrina wouldn't risk his neck. I'd been marked from that second. The Hawthorne fortune was always the prize. You've figured it out, a gentle voice asked. I surfaced. Chase stood inches away, handsome and unbothered, munching dragon fruit a client gave me, magenta ringing his lips, eyes bright as a kid discovering candy. Naivete and worldliness mixed together in one man made me want to mess up his face. I held back and said, so I was supposed to meet you that night? I'd met Uncle Sterling, Dad's old friend, a distinguished man, and Chase was his youngest son. In other words, the blind date Dad had once arranged for me. Chase asked. Well, are you disappointed now that you see me? A sudden ache rose in me. Not disappointed. He's the one who'll be disappointed once he sees what I've become. Fate really loves a joke. Who'd have guessed that 8 years later Aria, would be a soon-to-be divorced woman sliding toward middle age, while he was still fresh as morning dew. Aria, he turned serious all of a sudden. Now that you're scrubbing puppies and putting up with my slave driving, do you regret divorcing Sebastian? I pretended to be scandalized. You feeling okay? I'm the most popular vet tech at Sterling Clinic. Way better than playing housekeeper for the Vance estate. Have you met his mother? Chase lit up. At least you've got a conscience. How did you survive these 8 years? I hesitated. You really want to know? Every single thing, he said softly. Dark eyes hiding some secret sorrow. I'd never kept my guard up around him. All the grief I'd bottled up with nowhere to pour it suddenly found an outlet and spilled out in a rush. Chase listened until his eyes were red. You're that sentimental? I dabbed my own eyes and passed him a tissue. He didn't take it. He just stared. Aria, I'm sorry. I blinked. For what? I should have been brave. Even if I saw you chatting happily with Sebastian, I should have shoved open that restaurant door and said hello. He admitted he'd watched my first meeting with Sebastian from start to finish. The bistro we'd chosen had floor-to-ceiling windows facing the street. Bear hadn't been lured by any food stall. He'd spotted Sunny through the glass, standing beside Chase. Bear and Sunny are littermates. Bear was my gift to you, Chase said, eyes shining. I even showed up at your 18th birthday bash in the Hamptons, but I was too insignificant for you to notice. I was stunned. Back then the Hawthorne family was at its peak, and Dad had invited half the NYC elite. Keeping track of every guest was impossible. Dad had brought home the puppy, all mystery and winks, claiming, Bear's a magical dog, like the fawn that leads a princess to her prince in fairy tales. I'd thought it was just Dad being cute. Looking back, it felt like destiny. I didn't know what to feel. Chase turned out to be an excellent teacher. 2 months as his assistant, and I was promoted to intern veterinarian. Regular clients asked for me by name whenever their pets got sick. Sebastian, according to the attorney's intel, was currently whining and dining an heiress from a Texas conglomerate, lining up his next ladder. I smirked. Kindly inform your client that the clock on our divorce is ticking. Attorney studied me. Hawthorne, you've changed. There's barely a shadow left of the girl you were. I lifted my coffee and winked. 30 years east, 30 years west. Let's wait and see. He smiled kindly. Your father would be proud. Thinking of Dad warmed me. No matter how many betrayals life throws at me, the love he gave will melt every grudge. Back at the clinic, Chase asked about the divorce. Sebastian still dragging his feet. The Sterling family is happy to help with legal muscle. I considered. He's busy chasing an heiress. Let's leak the fact that we're still married. Between me and another fortune. Sebastian's choice is obvious. That afternoon a swarm of bodyguards burst through the doors. A woman in a wide-brimmed hat and sunglasses, face wrapped like a celebrity, cradled a limp miniature schnauzer. I recognized her at once, an A-list Hollywood star. Where's the veterinarian? Save my baby. Chase was out, and my promotional poster hung in the lobby. She zeroed in on me. One look at the dog's face sent an electric jolt through me. What did he eat? She produced a chunk of bread, sobbing. Some bitch laced it with rat poison. The scene was identical. My hands shook. Bear had died like this. Only back then I had no clinical experience and missed the crucial window. Bring him in. I launched into action. Emetic, gastric lavage, antidote, working on the schnauzer while Bear's ghost hovered in my mind. When the little dog's breathing steadied, I was soaked in sweat. The star hugged her pet, weeping. I stumbled out and nearly collided with Chase, who'd sprinted back, afraid Sebastian had come to make trouble. You okay? He caught my arm. You're drenched. I looked at him through rain like tears, just like the night we first met. He tried to wipe them, only making it worse. I cried until I laughed. Chase, I did it. I saved Bear. He understood at once. You sure did. Bear forgives you. You're free. I hugged him hard. His white coat blurred into angel wings through my tears. Sebastian's mother, my ex-mother-in-law, swept into the cafe next door to the clinic. Elegance on a jade cane. $5 million to disappear from my son's life, she announced. I almost laughed. Your son is the one refusing to sign. And $5 million doesn't even cover a fifth of my dowry. Her eyes narrowed. How much? Then, half of everything, community property. I'd married down. Sebastian had needed my dowry to rebuild Vance and had skipped a prenup. Half the Vance fortune would merely return what I'd brought in. Dream on. I shrugged. He wants to remarry. Tell him not to haggle. Or I might decide I like being Mrs. Vance after all. Her cane tapped furiously. Good breeding can only mask a temper for so long. Before she could explode, a low voice sounded behind her. Mom. Sebastian appeared, thinner, unshaven, worn down. Leave. I need to speak with Aria. She shot me a venomous glare before limping away. Sebastian slid the wedding band I'd flung at him in the VIP lounge across the table. Take it back and I won't remarry. I didn't bother answering. Under my mocking stare his fingers trembled as he pocketed the ring. Tears glinted in his eyes. Bravo, Aria. This is the last time you'll see me. Even now his machismo clung to the tatters of his pride. A man who climbs on women's backs yet fears their light. What pride is that? I stood in silence. Outside, sunlight found Chase in his white coat. At last, the derailed track led back to the right station. What are you doing here? I walked toward him. He looked sheepish. Every time you meet Sebastian, I relive that old nightmare. Idiot, I said, tilting my face to the brilliant NYC sun. Certain my smile was dazzling. Thanks for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Feel free to share your opinions. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more amazing stories. See you next time.